When I was working in Beaumont, Texas, I happened to be in Houston, and I met a young man who was with the same company I was with. I had just started working for him, only been with him for a little over a year. Met this guy, and we were having a beer in a bar someplace, and we found out we were both working for the same company. He said, "Hey, did you know that Schlumberger's got an overseas operation?" I said, "No, I didn't know that." He said, "Yeah, they're all over the world. Anybody drilling for oil, they got an operation going there. They offer services, oil field services." I said, "You mean all over?" He said, "Yeah, they sure do." And so I really didn't know that about the company. So I began to do some research on it. Turned out that one of their biggest operations was Schlumberger overseas, which was everything outside the United States. Well, I happened to be interested in Egypt, not from a scholarly point of view, but just kind of interested in pyramids and, things of that sort, archaeology, even though I had not done much study in it. But I really liked what I knew about it. I had a great uncle that was very wealthy, and he traveled all over the world. And one of the places he enjoyed the most was Egypt. I was fascinated with it. Well, anyway, for some reason, that was in the back of my mind. So I decided, I think I'd like to work overseas. Texas, man, it's a fun place to be. But I want to work overseas. So I wrote a letter asking to transfer to Schlumberger overseas, and I wanted to go to Egypt. And to my surprise, I had no idea this was going to happen. To my surprise, I got an almost instantaneous response saying, there are no needs employment needs in Egypt at this point, but right next door in Libya, there's a big demand for engineers. Would you be interested in Libya? And I thought, well, that's close, next door. So I took it. And actually, things moved rather quickly. The next thing I knew, they said, you will be leaving Texas and you'll be assigned to Hanover, Germany for a period of time until things open up in Libya. So I went to Hanover, Germany and worked out of their district office for several months. And I'll never forget my first job. The district manager was very comfortable with me because of experience to start working immediately without training. And so the first job I went on was up in the Holstein state, up on the Danish border in the Plön oil field. It was really close to the Danish border. In fact, I think we, after the job was done, went to a restaurant across the border, or right on the border, a Danish restaurant, where we saw sophisticated women smoking cigars, which apparently was culturally acceptable at that time. But anyway, on the way up, I got two workers, right? They're German. We got a truck, and I kept looking at my watch. I thought, we're not going to make it. And to my surprise, this guy, the driver, pulls the truck into what would, in America, be a little convenience store, pony keg type place. He pulls in, he gets out of the truck. I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "We're going to buy something." He comes out the door of that pony keg, that convenience store, and he's got a case of beer on his shoulder. He opens the back door of the truck and puts it in and gets in the truck, and off we go. And I said, "I got a question. Why did you buy that case of beer?" And he said, "Because I always do." And I said, "Well, you can't buy beer and carry it in this truck." He said, "I sure can." I said, "No, you can't. That's company policy. You can't be drinking on the job." He said, "You're an American. I'm German." And I said, "Well, I don't care if I'm an American and you're German. The beer's already in the truck, but you can't drink it on the job. So you can take the beer to the job, but you can't open the case." And he just smiled and drove on. Well, finally we got up to the job, and next thing I know, he's got the beer case open, and he's passing out beer to some of the workers on the rig. You know, we did the coffee thing in America, and it looked like they were doing the beer thing in Germany. I really didn't know what to do. He wasn't going to obey me, and I thought I had the authority to say no. I said it a couple of times, but realized that I'm the new guy on the block, and I was outnumbered. So we get back to the district office, and we weren't there more than about 15 minutes, and the manager called me in, and he said, you know, we're delighted to have you here, Bruce, at our district office, and our desire is to learn as much as we can about American operations from you, and so please feel free to share your insights. He said, how'd the job go? Well, I knew he knew. And I said, well, the job went okay. You know, everything went well. I said, yeah, I think okay. He said, have any problems? And I said, nothing really. And he said, everything work between you and the workers? Any problems communicating? And he said, they speak German, you speak English? I said, no, in fact, both of them spoke some English. So everything went okay. I said, well, not really. I said, I couldn't believe it, but they stopped, bought a case of beer. Oh, okay. How'd you handle that? And I said, well, you can't do that. You're not allowed to drink beer on the job. Oh, and he said, why do you think that they can't drink beer on the job? I said, well, you can't. That was company policy. And where was that, Bruce? And I said, well, obviously in America. Well, he said, you know, you're really in a different culture here. And the fact of the matter is we do allow it. It's not the same kind of problem that you might think of in America. You do have that policy, and it's good for America. But here, things are a little bit different. So let me ask you to just relax and kind of pick up what you can about the way of doing business in a different culture. I think you'll end up enjoying it. Sure enough, I did.